Alright, welcome back guys to another StarCraft Remastered replay cast from the South Korean ladder, as this game has been played once again on the 60th of July 2025, so very interesting international game once again here in between the two pro players. South Korean ladder it is, as we have spawning here in the lower right in the purple. It is WICOGOOD, so a very known clan, this Vico clan, as I saw very many pro players joining it on the South Korean ladder, so it should be a very good game here. Of course, a very high APM here for this pro, and his opponent none other than the Russian pro DEWALT, the Protoss Russian, who is spawning here in the lower left part of the map. So we should have, of course, a very good game. I once again have chosen a long game. It's around a 20-minute game, Protoss versus Terran. The graphics are, of course, bad because I'm still not having internet on the new place where I moved. So yeah, sadly no remastered graphics, but it's looking kind of okay. Of course, it's going to be in a high definition on YouTube. And yeah, let's just have a look at their build orders once again, at their tactics and so on, what exactly is going to happen here, as DEWALT is already moving out very early here with his probe and deciding this time not to go for a fast expansion build, but just straight pylon into gateway. I guess this is his build order versus the Terran versus the Zerg into a previous play. Into a previous game here onto this channel, he went for a fast expansion build order that was a little bit more macro orientated. This time he really wants to know where exactly his opponent is located, so he's moving out here with his probe. SCV now here for the Terran, and command center first is actually a new tactic here for the Terrans, so many have adopted it. The supply depot is up. And yeah, there's the command center. I guess this is exactly why DEWALT is just scouting the map very early. He really wants to punish this greedy gameplay by the Terrans, and it can be punished with a couple of Dragoons, perhaps some Zealots early on, as we do have now the barracks for the Terrans. So sadly here for DEWALT, scouting, but scouting towards the wrong locations, as his gateway is ready. There is his gas. I believe one Zealot, yes indeed, is already out. So he could inflict some damage here towards the expansion. Let's see how this is going to work out. Of course, no bunker yet here for the Terran. The barracks is about to get finished, as the Zealot is now finally going to reach his target very soon. And yeah, let's just see if DEWALT is going to be able to inflict more damage. Second Zealot is on his way. I believe a cybernetic score will be finished quite soon here for DEWALT. So this could be quite very good for him. Might be even lucky to snap one SCV or two. Yeah, but the SimCity build order is very good here for the Terran or DK, as many more SCVs have to be pulled here, and the barracks almost getting finished. A good snipe here by DEWALT, taking out one SCV. Barracks is about to get finished, as the first Marine will also pop out very soon. I believe that's exactly why the Zealot is located into this location. A second Zealot should be on his way. There it is. This one Zealot might get surrounded very soon. But yeah, the shields, only the shields are gone. There's a second Zealot, but the barracks, sorry, the bunker is about to get finished now. There's the one Marine, already taking quite some damage. Zealot is pretty much surrounded here, taking damage. Second Zealot here as well, so quite chaotic early game here we have, as the Zealot will also take another SCV down, perhaps a second SCV here as well. So 3 SCVs have fallen here already for the Terran, sacrificing some SCVs in order to have a better economy than the opponent. But now in comes the Dragoon, and I believe the upgrade for the Dragoons will also be started very soon here by DEWALT. DEWALT of course knows that it's only one Marine, and some SCVs are really low. If he could target those 2 SCVs, it would be very good for him, but he's just moving here forward straight towards the main, so not deciding to snipe those 2 low SCVs here, just going straight for the Marines. The Zealot has fallen. Finally the low SCVs have been taken down here by DEWALT, so finally a good move here by DEWALT, inflicting some good economic damage. But let's not forget that the Terran went for his fast expansion, as of course DEWALT is going to try to buy as much time as he can here with his Dragoon, trying to inflict as much damage as he can, and even snapping more and more units here from the opponent. So yeah, now as you can see on the minimap, DEWALT has also taken his expansion. A good surround here by the Terran, and with that I believe the harassment has pretty much been stopped by him, unless DEWALT goes for that range upgrade, but it's not started yet. Actually, DEWALT goes for a robotics facility bay with a robotics support bay, so we might see some reverse here for him. He could just leave this Dragoon here in the front just to scare the Terran, and in the end I believe he wants to finish the game with a Reaver drop, so a very interesting move here by DEWALT. But of course his tech is much more advanced here than the Terran, so he should be able to inflict some good damage. Of course there's no engineering bay here for the Terran, so the drop could be quite deadly here for DEWALT, as the shuttle has pretty much finished. There's the upgrade already for speed, and we will very likely see some Reavers very soon. Even some Dragoons could be dropped here with speed. It could also be a very good tactic here by DEWALT. There is actually a starport here for the Terran, so does he have scan? No, he doesn't have scan, so he's very likely expecting actually a dropship harassment here by the Protoss. So very nice move by him. With that one race he should of course be able to fend this off. However, speed will also be finished very soon for DEWALT, so let's just see what's going to happen, as we see of course the Dragoon range being also almost done here for the Russian player. We even have some turrets now getting built. So yeah, the Terran very smartly, of course having much experience, is now expecting that drop ship to happen. Yes indeed, there it is, the shuttle actually with one Reaver and one Zealot heading straight towards the expansion from the Terran. Even one barrack is located here to have more vision against the incoming shuttle, and yet there it is, even hiding this one turret. Very smart move here by the Terran, hiding the turret beneath the barracks. So with that I believe sadly here for DEWALT the harassment might have stopped. Let's just check this location right here. There is a turret, there's even more turrets getting built, so in the end DEWALT just moving here forward, trying to snap the bunker, and he will be actually successful, so good move by him, even taking out one Marine. And with that tank actually above, the harassment pretty much has been stopped. A good speed here for DEWALT, but yeah, those the location from the turrets here from the Terran, very smart. A great defense here by him, so sadly here for DEWALT, not really being able to inflict any damage towards his opponent. Even the race in the air should be able to fend off the harassment by DEWALT. Let's see how much damage can this do, but with that I believe the shuttle is very likely going to be snapped here, so a great pick up here by the Terran. Perhaps a lucky scarab will take out the SCV or two, but in the end lots and lots of sacrifices here for DEWALT, as the defense here from the Terran quite outstanding versus the opponent. However, at the same time DEWALT did take another expansion, so if his macro game is going to be kicking in, he is of course going to be able to afford those losses. So let's just see what the Terran is going to do. Is he going to try for a timing push with some tanks, with some vultures, with some Goliaths? It would be a very good idea. Let's see if he has scan. Still no scan available to race in the air, as more factories are getting built here by him. So pretty much transitioning now into mass mech, just like many Terrans do. And the Protoss is very likely going to be going into mass gateway units, and there it is. So the pretty much standard Terran versus Protoss we have here, with some interesting early harassment by DEWALT, but sadly for him not being able to inflict some damage against the opponent. So things have settled down. Good defense here by the Terran, having lots of buildings here spread out, even another command center, so he really wants to take this next location of course. And I believe he still doesn't know about this expansion right here that is nicely defended by some pylons here. DEWALT just marching around the map, trying to get as much vision as possible, but more and more factories are getting constructed now here by the Terran. So what exactly could be the answer here by DEWALT versus this? It's going to be quite hard for him to defend against a timing push with tanks, with vultures. Even those two rays in the air could snipe a shuttle, even some observers could be sniped, so he really has to think about a tactic here, going actually for another shuttle with a Reaver, inflicting some good damage, having good vision here with this one observer. And yeah, just trying to keep of course the Terran at bay, trying to keep him home as much as he can. And in the end I believe he's going to try to just mass as many units as possible, as many Zealots, as many as Dragoons as possible. Indeed, that's exactly what he's doing. Mass gateway, having some Dragoons here in the back in just in case some drop is happening. Having 2 Reavers now. He could of course drop them, but in the end it would be quite hard, given the fact that there are so many tanks here sieged up. And yeah, let's see who's going to be the first attacking, as DEWALT is nicely moving around the map, searching for more expansions, having good map control now, even having good vision, as the Terran is now of course slowly moving out just to secure his expansion right here into this location. And DEWALT smartly tries to actually buys more and more time, having now the high ground, not allowing the Terran to take this expansion really fast. Even now moving forward with his units. No speed has been done here for the Zealots, so quite a suicide move here by DEWALT, but of course he knows he needs the time versus the expansion. Getting some good pickups here, getting some good tank shots, but in the end of course the tanks in the back will back this up, and sadly here for him, losing more and more units. Even this one shuttle almost getting killed, but the 2 Reavers have fallen. So I don't really understand why exactly he moved there forward. Perhaps a little bit of a mistake by DEWALT. Just a little bit of time would have been enough to wait and perhaps expand into this location. So quite a aggressive move here by DEWALT. Perhaps trying to inflict more damage, not knowing how many tanks were in the back. Not really having that vision, and yeah, those tanks in the back quite strong, very deadly against the ground units from the Protoss. No upgrades yet for them. Let's have a look at the Zealots. Perhaps with another wave of gateway units it would have been better of course here for DEWALT. But yeah, sacrificing many units for him. Let's just see if this is going to cost him the game. I hope not, as he also takes another expansion here. Losing another Dragoon. He needs to be more careful with his waypoints and with his micro. Other than that, his macro game looking very strong. Economy looking very strong. Both players pretty much at a 60 amount of worker here, as now finally DEWALT is moving forward, and now finally he has speed, so also interesting move by him, attacking there without speed, getting of course punished immediately by the Terran tanks, as now some mines will be cleared here by him. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Once again, he's moving forward, he's trying to clear the mines. Some Dragoons are in the front, but the Zealots should have been in the front. So now here we go, good surround here by DEWALT, taking out the tank. The second tank is also taking some damage. The vultures are nicely placed in the front, protecting those tanks. And now even he comes in from the back, so much better attack here by DEWALT. Once again, some units will be sacrificed. Let's just see if the reinforcements from the Terran are enough to hold this back. There are some Dragoons on the high ground. SCVs have to be pulled, so finally a great move here by DEWALT. Forcing the pull out with the SCV, so very good stuff here by him. A tank is coming from the back to join this attack, and in the end lots and lots of SCVs will be snapped here, so very good move by DEWALT. Remember, he has 1 extra base here versus the opponent. Yeah, killing some SCVs is always good for him. Perhaps some high templars might have been even a greater idea, but a very good flank from both sides here by DEWALT, inflicting some good damage versus the opponent. Now finally Vico reacting with some mines here into this location, trying to keep of course the opponent at bay, and the vultures will very likely snipe some probes here. Let's see if they're being lucky to snipe more. A good scan. Vico tries of course now to buy time, not to allow the Protoss to move out. There are some cannons here to defend this expansion, so it's looking very good for DEWALT now, as once again he's moving forward, even having once again a shuttle with Reaver and 2 Zealots. Let's see what's going to happen. The Zealots will be dropped. There's the Reaver. The reinforcements should pull here forward very soon, but there's also many mines on the ground, so DEWALT has to make up his mind what exactly is he going to be doing. Of course he has to retreat. Perhaps even an Arbiter would have been a good idea for him, as it's very hard to penetrate here forward versus the tanks, but the tanks of course are not that much mobile, like the Zealots for example, or even an Arbiter drop onto the production buildings here from the opponent would have been a great idea. However, there's also many turrets for the Terran, so a very good defense here by him, as he's just moving forward with his vultures, trying of course to inflict damage towards the economy from the opponent. Being lucky here, being able to snipe some probes, a very good move by the Terran, and more sniping is going on here onto the map, as of course the Terran tries to keep DEWALT home as much as he can, and with that just tries to mass more and more mech units, more and more tanks especially, and perhaps you're going to be seeing some Goliaths as well here by him. So yeah, let's just check the upgrades very quickly. I believe it is 1-1 indeed, and let's just check DEWALT. 1 weapons upgrades here for him as well. So still a interesting game, still anyone's game actually. Good defenses here for DEWALT. Very hard to push forward with those vultures. Perhaps a fast move with some vultures, sacrificing here some of them in order to inflict some damage towards the economy. Hold on, actually he's going for the important units here, being able to snipe, I believe, 2 High Templars, but at what cost, as all of those vultures enter the High Templar storm, and with that taking so much splash damage. So yeah, but if you look at the supply, actually the Terran already at 170 supply, building up the sheer mass of mech units here. And is he going to be moving out very soon? That is the question. And how is DEWALT going to react? He needs, of course, a good position. He needs, of course, to surround somehow the attack from the Terran. So many tanks for him, so many vultures. Good kiting here, or back and forward by DEWALT. Tries to keep, of course, the Terran at bay. I believe the Terran is going to try to attack the 12 o'clock position here, moving out with pretty much all of his units. There are some reinforcements in the back, staying back just to defend it, just in case there is a move out. But right now the critical mass has been reached here by the Terran, 180 supply, as he's now moving forward. Going straight for this expansion, quite an exposed expansion, but at the same time DEWALT has all of those units here. He has many shuttles, he could drop so many units towards those tanks. Many mines have been dropped in the front. Quite a hard situation here for DEWALT, as so much is attacking the Nexus here, and like I told you, he will very likely try to surround somehow those units, but there's tanks in the back, and slowly but steadily the Terran is moving here forward with his units. There's the drop happening here, Zealots are in the front, lots and lots of mines have been activated, but the Terran is also taking some damage. So DEWALT tries, of course, his best to attack here the Terran, but yeah, looks like the wall of the mech units here can't be penetrated by the Protoss, and all of a sudden DEWALT dropping to 135 supply versus 180 here from his opponent. Yeah, slowly but steadily the Terran is actually knocking here at the first expansion point from his opponent, even having some units here towards the other expansion. So all of a sudden DEWALT in some serious trouble. He's going to try to counter this with some Zealot dropships. Smartly done here, trying to pull some mines, even having 2 Dark Templars here, snapping as many tanks as he can. So very good move here by DEWALT. Scans go out, of course, in order to take out the DTs. But yeah, the reinforcements are immediately pouring here forward for the Terran. However, not that many tanks being available here for him. Only some vultures and a couple of Goliaths versus the shuttles here. So DEWALT still being into this game. Difficult situation here for him. But let's see if he's going to be able to hold on, as the Terran reinforcements are just pouring here forward for him. This expansion quite not touched, so that's good news for DEWALT, having this 1 DT, but it will be sniped. So now the Terran actually moving here forward against the expansion, an important expansion here for DEWALT. At the same time also taking this position right here, making it very hard for those gateway units to come out and fight, so only shuttles will be used to transport them. So quite a very difficult situation all of a sudden here for DEWALT, as he even has to transfer all of those probes at the 12 o'clock position. And yeah, does he have something to counter? Perhaps the economy, perhaps some shuttles with some High Templars. He's trying a good drop here, but it looks very harsh for him now. And yeah, there's the GG, but also a little bit of South Korean. So quite a good defense here by the Terran early on, defending very well against the shuttle dropship. I believe DEWALT tried twice, even 3 times, to inflict some damage towards the economy from the opponent, and it sadly didn't work out. And with that, of course, the Terran had the advantage all of a sudden, being able to mass an army of 180 supply with good upgrades, and with that, of course, marching forward, making it very hard for the Protoss to defend. Only a very lucky flank could have been the saving move by DEWALT. Of course, only some good drops would have been a save, some drops towards some mines, and yeah, in order to deal splash damage towards the Terran units. But sadly it wasn't meant to be here for DEWALT. He played very well. Both players actually played very well, but in the end the Terran mass just proved to be so much stronger. Let's just check the That's very quickly. Good game by both. Nice APM here by both. Yeah, like I told you, it's on it has been played on the 50th July 2025, and I'm going to place that on the thumbnail here from the game as well on YouTube, so that you guys know when exactly it has been played. So yeah, quite a good game. Sorry about the graphics, but in 1 month or 2 it should be fixed, or at least I hope it should be fixed. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tommy signing out.